Hey guys, Joanne here with Newegg TV. I'm here to do an overview on this Rosewill R536-Red mid-tower computer case. I did the BK, which stands for the black edition of this case, and you can go ahead and check out that video if you're interested. But today we're going to focus on the red. Now for a 360 look at the case, just like the black edition of the case, you get hot dip galvanized steel. It's basically a process where you coat metal with a layer of zinc at super high temperatures, and it helps to prevent corrosion. Just the simple rundown of that. And this case does have that body as well as some plastic construction at the front. Of course, you'll notice the nice red bezel at the front with this claw-like design, and it's a bit glossy as well. This case measures 7.25 inches wide, 16 inches tall, and 18.75 inches deep. And at the front, we have plenty of mesh grille for ventilation. You get your power button, reset button, 2 USB 2.0 ports, 2 USB 3.0 ports, headphone and microphone jacks, 3 5.25 inch drive bays, as well as a 3.5 inch drive bay. That is where the cage is. I'll show you when we take a look at the interior. And I'm going to just go ahead and remove the front bezel. Rather easy, but you want to be careful as the cables are still connected. Are connected. And here's where the 5.25 inch bays are, 3.5 inch, you'll see the cage area, and there is a mount for a 80mm, 90mm, or 120mm front fan with this kind of cross-shaped ventilation, round holes. Just place this back. There we go. On the side, you kind of get this wing designed here, as well as a kind of popped out mount for an 80mm fan, round ventilation holes, some honeycomb ventilation holes here down at the bottom. And on the rear, just move this back, you get a pre-installed 500 watt power supply with an included 120mm silent fan right here. And here's the power port for it, power switch, and you even get a 115 or 120 or 230 volt option, depending on where you are located in the world, which can be very helpful. You also get a pre-installed 120mm rear exhaust fan, also mounting points for an 80 and a 90mm fan. More ventilation holes here, knockout for your input-output shield for your motherboard, and I believe 2, 4, 6, 7 expansion slots. There's some more of that design on this side, and you'll notice that to remove the side panels, you'll need a screwdriver to remove these 4 screws. You get a clean top of the case, and moving on to the bottom, some raised plastic feet, as well as mounting point for a 2.5 inch drive at the bottom of your hard drive cage. Let's first take a look at the right side of the case. That's generally how the order goes. So I'm just going to go ahead and take these screws off real quickly. And these side panels come off rather easily, so that is a nice touch. Inside you get a large cutout for your aftermarket heatsink, rolled edges, and you'll see all of these power supply cables in a moment when I take a look in the interior of the case. You get some cable clamps here, holes, and mainly this area here to route your cables. Last but not least is a look at the interior. Let's go ahead and do that. So first up, here's another look at the 120 rear exhaust with its 3-pin connector. This case is just light enough for me to move it around easily. I believe it is 16 pounds. And since we're here, here's a look at the power supply power chart. Looks like you get dual plus 12 volt rails at 15 and 16 amps each, total 500 watts. And let's take a look at what the cords have to offer. This is a fully non-modular power supply. As you can see, all the cables are connected to the power supply. But you'll just get what you need. For example, the 20 plus 4-pin main connector with a bright neon green 4-pin, just like the BK version, and get a 4-pin CPU plug or an 8-pin CPU plug. These cables are sleeved, so you get some more better cable management inside the case, as well as cooling. And you get 4 SATA connectors, one 6-pin PCIe connector, and this is 2 quick release Molex plugs as well as a floppy. This case is compatible with micro ATX and ATX motherboards. Here's some papers here showing you what the this is the front I/O user manual, as well as a closer look at the power supply, the pins and whatnot. And down here at the bottom, you'll notice the, wait, I'll have to move this a little bit. You'll notice the 2.5-inch drive mount right here. And you get 5 mounting points for 5 3.5-inch drives, not including the front 3.5-inch, all right here in your cage. Here's a look at the 5 1/4-inch drive bay, and oh, here's the power cable for the power supply. Let's take this accessory bag out and see what you get. You get a couple PCIe slot covers, as well as this locking mechanism for the side of your case, 1 white zip tie, motherboard speaker. You also get some standoffs, as well as other mounting hardware. Now for the front panel connectors. You get a 20-pin USB 3 header for the USB 3 ports at the front, but you also get a 2.0 lead. So they have this little warning label here for you: never plug in both at the same time, plug in one or the other. And if you have an older motherboard that does not have the USB 3 support, then you'll be plugging in the USB 2 connector. But if you do that, you will not be getting USB 3 speeds. Also, here are your power reset and LED connectors. Of course, you get the audio and USB 2.0 plugs. And one last thing, of course, is the clearance. So for CPU cooler height, you get about 6 inches, and for graphics card, about 10 inches. That wraps up our overview on this Rosewill R536-Red mid-tower computer case. I'm Joanne, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to our Newegg YouTube channel. Thanks for watching Newegg TV, and we'll see you next time.